$123 to 86 to 80. There we go. All right.
Wow. How much did you get off of the end game?
25.
The fewer shares had. How many cubes were on the fewer shares?
Here, 9, 25. Hold on.
more?
34 and 3, 37 points.
Yeah.
That I can count.
I mean, it still beats us, but
you can't play this game like you normally would. You cannot play this map like a normal Age of Steam map. Stealing, the fact that it's 3 players only, we have to do a better job of fighting for those, and I don't know. I got so wrapped up in trying to make like using the locomotive to limit my income, having to spend deliveries, that I was focused on that instead of the stealing the plunk. And yeah, that was just bad. Yeah, I played really poorly, but it's a hard map. The fact that it's
totally
only
different.
3, yeah, it very much turns things on its head. I like it. It's just you got to play it differently. What do y'all think?
Yeah, coming in, I wasn't keen on it because I don't tend to like these abstract maps that aren't over a geography. I definitely like Age of Steam rooted in a geography, and so I thought, well, it's very abstract. They call it steampunk, but there's nothing steampunk about this. And then I was also concerned that there was too many changes, both the rotating things and the end-game scoring. I thought was just going to be too much. I may still feel that both of those changes are kind of too much egg in the recipe. That it would be better if they picked one of them and just went
Very
with one
eggy
of the changes.
custard, right? Okay, yeah.
But I do like the map. The rotating thing is really mind-blowing, but in a fun kind of way. I like the way it makes you think differently, and the fact that you can't urbanize, which means that these towns are locked in. They're not going to change into cities, so you've got to think about that in your route planning as well. That's all very interesting stuff. I tend to dislike end-of-game scoring like that, even though I did well with it. I mean, I just find it kind of... turning Age of Steam into a point salad, which is kind of... how much I love point salads. But it was kind of interesting, but then I say that as, because I just went mad on the steel plunk action and just ran it to the ground, really, from earlier on than we thought we were going to.
Yeah, for sure.
We thought it was going to be a last couple of rounds,
Right.
and I thought, well, hang on, if I can swing these stealing plunks. I should have done a little bit better had I gone earlier for the... it would have given me a couple more points, but who cares?
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the endgame goals. It's just such a big priority. Again, if a game gives you endgame scoring, you ought to focus on it. So it changes it completely. I don't mind that there's a map or two here or there that does that out of the 220,
Exactly.
200, whatever it is. So I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
But, and Joshua says, so the map was developed over a year and a half, and the tiles were always 2 color, and they don't overlap. Like, there's no 2 that have the same. That's
right.
fair.
Yeah, there's every combination. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, and I'm sure there's a reason to not do it that way, but if you don't like the endgame goals, you know what you can do? Not have them.
Yeah.
And play normal Age of Steam in that regard, right?
Right. So the thing about the endgame goals, and this might be how you would play it for Age of Steam, like it works for how mean Age of Steam can be, is that, and one of the reasons I don't like this kind of endgame goals, and I'll address that first and then come back to, actually, I do enjoy this map quite a bit.
Okay.
Is that it is a sole winner, right? And so if you got... I think Joshua said there's like 21 border outside spaces.
Yeah,
If someone has
22,
if someone has like
whatever.
9 and someone or 10 and 11 or whatever the split is, that person who spent all that time getting second gets nothing, right?
Right. Yeah.
Which is never like I don't. It's not in games that have that like all or nothing end game type scoring. Or if it's just like a goal that you achieve throughout the game, right? Someone gets there first. I've never been a huge fan of that in games. I like that one that comes to mind is Underwater Cities, where you have the company goals. I never play with them because I don't like that aspect of the game. Right?
Fair enough, right. Hero brings up a good point. If there aren't a lot of black cubes in the game, you know what there aren't a lot of? End-game scoring.
Yeah,
so that's a fair point, too. Yeah. That's a really, really good point.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. That's true. But just talking about the fact that this is we haven't seen a map, an HTML map that does that kind of thing.
No, so I think that's awesome.
I think I enjoy that. It's a great thing to experience, and I would be happy to play this again and see how I adapt to it.
Yes,
because it is, you do have to play differently, and I think this is totally unique in that respect, and I would do it again.
I'm okay. I mean, there are plenty of other maps that we've played to where you're like, oh, you got to think about this differently. This is another one of those, but in a different way.
Yes.
That's what makes Aegis Steam system awesome.
I guess the feeling that I have with both of them is if the goals went away and there was only the rotations, that would be different enough.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah. I'm saying you could basically make multiple maps out of this system in and of itself, right?
The rotation's really interesting.
It really is.
That is my favorite part of the map, despite the fact that it's really challenging. What's interesting?
It's like Swedish recycling, to where when you deliver, it changes the color of it. So similar, but implemented in a different way, right?
So the thing that we didn't do, you did once is the rotation, the manual rotation. Right?
Yes.
And I was coming into the game concerned about that because I don't like that sort of like aggressive. Oh, I'm just gonna
mess with you because I can.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Nobody did the $4 pay for rotation. Actually, you did it. You did it at the end of the game also. So you did it twice. Once.
Right.
Once directly to your benefit. Once I don't. I think you were just screwing around with stuff. And so I think I don't know how it would feel if that got used more aggressively in a game and just people were getting messed with left and right. If even spending $4 to do that, that might sour me.
I can't imagine. Aegis Theme is so tight that spending $4 to just spite you.
Yeah.
Unless late game, I could see it used once in a like as a you're not doing that 6 or 7 delivery type thing.
You had money,
but on the regular,
you had money left over in the last round. Because Martin outbid us all, so you could have done.
No, I didn't. I had no money. I bid 15.
Oh, okay, all right, but yeah, someone could hold on to a bit of money to do that.
I could have.
So I don't. I suspect that wouldn't actually happen in most situations.
Right, but and it's a 3-player game, so it's not like it could be done just because the 5th player is whatever.
Right.
Yeah, likely not a huge concern.
Right. Agreed.
And there's also, I mean, I always like to go for loops anyway, but that was also part of the reason I went for this very loopy picture, because it was going to be very hard to disrupt with a rotation because there's so many options. Mm-hmm. I mean, you probably figure out a way, but it's a lot of mental energy to figure out how to bust things up.
Yeah, I needed. I'm one of my big issues was the fact that I only had a yellow city right in the middle, and I didn't have any other
access to yellow. Right. Yeah.
And the randomness of those of how those cities are placed at the beginning of the game matters significantly. So I think we had this red corridor in the middle, which is interesting. I mean,
yeah.
And Joshua says, "With repeat plays, you'll focus on the end game points more." Makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. Changing how you build, especially. Then many aspects of the game are gamified, similar to how the auction feels with players competing for certain builds more. Players jockeying for black cubes, usually the steel plunk as the last place 3rd player to take points away from the other 2. Yeah. I mean, all that makes sense, having now experienced this. Yeah, I see that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Oh, it's a cool map, for sure. And it makes you think about it in a completely different way, which is a good thing, I think.
Yeah, no, we'll play this again, maybe at Heavy Con.
I was going to say Heavy Con's the obvious place where this is going to happen. Right, yeah, sure. All right, well, anything else?
No, not really, other than somebody was mentioning sending us eyeballs, and I just want to make clear, we do not ask for your eyeballs on this show, but we do ask for your thumbs!
And now, what cracks me up about that is, so Ryan Kelly, he's like, wait, that Martin Fowler? Yes. And the fact that he does, never gets old to me, ever. So yeah, hey, like, subscribe, follow, all that fun stuff. If you all find value in what we do, consider supporting the show for a couple bucks a month. Certainly appreciate it. Patreon.com/HCHQ. That's a wrap for the weekend. I may be back Sunday, but if I do, it's going to be just a real informal Q&A / I'll be watching the Reds game. And that's that. Starting next week, only 2 streams. The finish of Weimar and maybe something on Monday, because then I'm at Circle DC after that. So appreciate it. Have a good night. I'm Edward.
Trey.
Martin.
All right. Y'all take care. Have a good night. Hey, thanks for watching, y'all. Hopefully watching was as enjoyable for y'all as it was for us making it. And if so, then maybe look right above my head, like and subscribe, that helps. Maybe watch one of those other videos. Consider supporting us over on Patreon. All of those things really do help the channel. Thanks, y'all.